Using pain as fuel, that's the focus for today's voice. When I think about using pain as fuel, one thing comes to mind, and that is, how do I have the discipline to make sure I accomplish what my goal is? Because the pain is going to be there. That's not a question. The fuel is also going to be there. That's also not in question. But discipline is the one thing that I think about. How am I going to have it? But I know I must have it to make sure that I accomplish what I need to accomplish. When I say how, I mean, I'm thinking about, okay, I need to plan to be consistent. I need to plan to be in the everyday mindset. I need to plan to have longevity because stuff doesn't happen overnight. Those type of characteristics and having that type of mindset is what's going to carry you through when you're using pain as fuel to do better in something. To not have to experience that failure and the pain from that failure again. One of the significant things that I think discipline brings to us, it allows us to bring out our better self. Our full potential, to bring out that's the true self in us, the peak. For example, I remember feeling the pain of failing a college class and thinking to myself, I'm going to do better on the discipline side of things to make sure that I pass this class. There's a lot of pain there when I failed the class. I went through a lot of pain for at least a week. And I know some people are thinking to themselves, well, it really wasn't that big of a deal, just take the class over. It was, because you go through a certain period of self-disappointment and self-failure, self-criticism. What can I have done better? When you start asking the whys of yourself, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that type stuff? And then you kind of come out of it and you start to think, how can I do better at that point? Logic starts to kick in. And I think when you're using pain as fuel, the fuel helps you become motivated, and then the logic helps you become disciplined. What do I mean by that? Well, when the logic helps you become disciplined, you start to think about certain ideas that you can do differently. How can I get consistency? How can I get better each day at what I'm trying to do? And how can I continue to keep going down that road even when things get tough? I remember the day that I made a commitment to myself to get more discipline and use that pain as fuel to do it. And I remember sitting down, opening up a blank notepad, and I wrote down a series of steps of what I was going to do to pass that class the next time I took it. And I remember writing down step 1. Don't be afraid to be different and be disciplined. And then I wrote down step 1, 20 to 25 minutes of study time each day. And then I wrote down step 2, methods that make sense to you to use to study. And so I used a couple of methods that I actually do use now as an engineer. And, that was a connected method that allowed me to connect each point of the subjects that I was studying. Then step 3 was to test myself every single day in terms of what I learned about a subject, where I was going, in terms of my critical thinking to learn about that subject. I took it to another level of discipline because of the pain that I felt, and I used that as fuel to get better. Then the 4th thing I wrote down was repeat every day. You're going to repeat this process every single day. And then I wrote down at the bottom, what do you want to get out of this? With a question mark. I said, I want to get out of this a passing grade with a B or better. I want to get more consistency out of this. I want to get more confidence out of this. I want to make sure that I'm doing this every day. And I want to make sure that I'm more disciplined after it's over. I think one of the things that we fail to do is sometimes write down what we need to do, how we're going to be more disciplined, instead of saying we want to be more disciplined. And I think when you can do that, you're light years ahead of where you were last time. And the thing about using pain as fuel, it will give you the courage to do something that you've never done, to get an outcome that you've never had. And I think that's the beauty of using pain as fuel with the combination of discipline. I do. And I think one of the things that everybody who's listening to this needs to understand, you have that disciplinary nature in you, whether you think you have it or not. You really do. I believe in you that you have it deep down in your gut. You know you have it. And you know it can put you in an elite class. You know it can send you to the top. You know it can get you what you want in life. Whether you want to start that business, you want to get a better grade in class, you want to get that job, you want to be better in your personal life, It can happen. Remember, just decide. I know it's scary. It is. To change up and do stuff different. Hope that, the outcome is going to come and everything like that. But trust me, when you follow the logic and you write down how you're going to be disciplined as a result of using that pain that you suffered as fuel, you'll be in a much better place. And you'll be able to thank yourself for that afterwards. And when you thank yourself for that, you can then start to spread that message to others. That's where the real success is. When you start spreading that message to others. That's what I'm trying to do right now, is to spread the message to others. Because I believe that people can be successful together, can be successful when we're in each other's corner, can help each other on how to be more disciplined, instead of just saying, you need to be more disciplined. I think that's so much more effective than just saying the word, but actually displaying how. And then using your experience when it comes to the pain as fuel to show people where you came from and where you are now. I think that's such a powerful tool that we can have that to help each other out in the world, and it'll make the world a better place through discipline. Discipline doesn't have to be a rah-rah speech. It doesn't have to be yelling in somebody's face or whatever. It can be a system that you teach, a system that you practice, and a system that you believe in. And when you believe in that system, it can take your life farther than you can ever imagine. It can take your kids' life farther than you can ever imagine. It can take your friends' life farther than you can ever imagine. But you have to have the courage first to go down that road of discipline. My name is Scott Foley. Thank you for listening today. And as you go through your day, I would like you to think about how you're going to be more disciplined in something that you've either failed at, you want to get better at, you want to accomplish, and then eventually that you'd like to share with people. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.